So in the next part of the video, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this piece right out here to replace this, as well as coming in and actually cutting out this part and working the new piece in here. So let's go ahead and get to it. I start by removing the rear floor pan, or at least part of it. I'm not going to replace the entirety of it. Instead, I'm just cutting out the bad metal and then a little bit extra. This will allow me to tie into the existing floor, as well as keep some of the original structure intact. So I cut it out with the cutoff wheel. This is a 4.5-inch angle grinder that I picked up from Harbor Freight about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. It's been really good. The whole point of this is that I need to replace the inner sill. As the inner sill is what the floorboard as well as the rocker panel tie into, it's really one of the most important parts, and so it's really what I've been focused on mainly over the past little bit. I don't have quite enough space to work with it, so you'll see me remove the upper part of the rocker panel here in a second. Don't blink, look at that rust. Kidding, here it is a little slower. So much Bondo. Now that I've removed that piece, I go ahead and remove the other parts of the inner sill that I'm tracking. Now there's a large portion of the car here that I'm really sort of nervous to just completely cut out, because I want to keep the car as structurally sound as possible for as long as possible, and just make these cuts and make these replacements very quickly, so that way I don't leave the car sitting and give it an opportunity to either go down or bend in certain places. So you see me removing the spot welds, and now I'm actually setting up paper in order to create the inner sill as we move forward. Now I'll cut that out later. Not in this video, actually. I haven't even cut it out yet at the time of this recording. It was right here where I really started to notice that I had extra plates of material there that I needed to remove. And so I needed to keep cutting, and I needed to keep cutting, and I needed to keep cutting out spot welds. So while this is pretty boring, that's pretty much what I did the rest of the day, which is just cut out spot welds to ensure that I have removed all of the bad metal from the car. I'll have to take you and look at that actual arch piece. It has been rebuilt, and it has not been rebuilt well. The Bondo was a good job, but whew, man, it was rough. So I'll show you that here later in another video. Alright, so the plan is to replace this piece that goes up and around this corner. It's pitted. I'm going to put a whole bunch of rust board in here and hope to retard the rust the best as I can. Sort of cut this piece out so that way I'd have additional space to work and sort of clean up. Looking at the other side, it was clear that there were several pieces like attached here, so I'm going to try and bring this around. I think this went around and then curved around the corner, I think is what I decided on the other side as well. So I'll look at that just to see how that looks, and go from there. But I will, holes, like I'll I will drill holes on the sheet and actually plug weld it to this piece, and then add additional as I move forward. But I think that'll go. I don't really want to trim this. I like having both of these here to try to maintain some level of structural rigidity. But that's definitely cleaner. Floorboard here, just trying to get that all where it needs to go. Went ahead and sanded and sort of cleaned up this. Need to go through with a file and sort of clean up this hole so it doesn't cut whenever you run your finger across it. But other than that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break for the rest of the morning, maybe eat some breakfast, go from there. Moving forward, I'm hoping maybe by the end of the weekend the parts come in. So it's Thursday, but hoping by the end of the weekend I will have this done, and that'll likely do this whole video. I doubt you'll even see this part, because why would I tell you midway through a video? Like, I'll just get done whatever I got done, and then I'll film the outro for it. So, and intro. Maybe I'll start doing the intro afterwards, just so I can know what's going to happen in the video. All things to think about. Thanks for watching. In this section of the video, I went ahead and cut off most of that plate so I could expose the mount below it, and then I could sand back the spot welds. So I used the cutoff wheel, I used the flap disc, I used the grinder, and I also used the spot weld drill. All of these tools sort of allowed me to clean up the work area as I went and remove all the bad old metal. You'll see me actually removing it along the bottom. I'll drop it on the ground and then I'll sweep it up every once in a while. I also then used a small wire brush to sort of get in there and clean out as much of the recess as I could. I do actually go back the next day and clean some more on the inside, and so you'll see me likely put some rust mort on the surfaces. It's completely pointless as I went through and resanded, and we'll be putting more rust mort on as I move forward. Once I removed a lot of the metal, I also went ahead and took the hammer and another brass hammerhead that I have to sort of straighten out the metal. So you're going to want a flat surface that you're going to plug weld your exterior surfaces to. So make for sure that you're keeping that in mind as you move forward. Also really love the way that rust mort looks whenever it turns the ground white underneath it, whenever you drop it on the concrete. Pretty cool, huh? This was the entirety of the work today. Just removing old metal and getting the car ready to continue to move forward. On the next day, I'll go ahead and continue to remove metal. But you see I've removed some of the arch, I've removed a lot of the other parts, and now I'm just cleaning up my mess and taking some pictures so I can show them to my friends. If you like what you see, go ahead and click the subscribe button. That subscribe button lets me know that I'm doing good work. Also, don't forget to set up your notifications so that way it'll notify you whenever I post a new video. Over here, you're going to see my newest video. And then, finally, over here is what YouTube suggests should be the next video in this series. I've got all my videos set up in different playlists, so you should be able to see and track and follow whichever projects you feel like. Thank you for watching. Get out there and work on your car, and God bless.